Hey, urban youth workers, Luma here from San Diego. I'm a Young Life Area Director, and for the past 2 decades, I've been working in the same urban community. And today it's an honor and privilege for me to be here to share some things with you that I've learned along the way. And today I want to talk about the power of prayer versus the power of performing. The other day I was emailing someone on my phone, and I had a thought that I needed to text message somebody. And so I went to start to look for my phone so I can actually send this text out. I looked all over my desk, on the floor, on the dresser next to me, and maybe about 30 seconds later, I realized I was actually using my phone to email someone. Does that ever happen to you, where you actually are on your phone and you're looking for your phone? And I realized in that moment that I just had a lot on my mind. And sometimes I get into this pattern of performing and getting things done. And recently I read an article that doctors are diagnosing people with this condition called hurry sickness. And I think some of us urban youth workers might actually suffer from this. And what hurry sickness is, it's a continuous struggle and unrelenting attempt to accomplish or achieve more and more things in less and less time. People with hurry sickness think fast, talk fast, and act fast. And I realized that this was actually taking a toll on me. I ended up getting a phone call one day from my 2 leaders that were taking students to camp, and they calling me to tell me that it was the wrong week of camp. I had sent my leaders and students in a van across California to a camp, and they showed up to the wrong week because I was reading the dates quickly, in a hurry. And I had 3 emails for a year about these dates. And for some reason, I wrote the wrong dates down. This can happen to us because we are in this society and this culture where we're doing things really fast and we're constantly performing and we got to get things done. And I realized I need to take a step back and I really need to think about my prayer life and my time with Jesus and the power of prayer. And am I slowing down enough to actually give these things to Jesus? Or am I actually doing everything I can in my own might and power? I love Luke 5, verses 1 through 11. It talks about Jesus getting into the boat, and he tells them to pull off shore, and he starts to teach all the people around. And then he tells the fishermen on the boat, the disciples, to cast their nets. And they say to him, "Oh, Jesus, we've been trying to fish all night long, and we haven't caught anything. But as you say so, we will do that." And so they cast their nets, and when they pull them back up, they're so full that the nets are ripping. And if you think about fishermen, they take so many things on a boat. They need torches at night. They're working through the night. They lived hurry, busy lives. They had so much equipment on their boats and all the things that they needed in order to catch these fish. And here Jesus steps on without anything but his might and power, and their nets are overfilling. And then Jesus tells them, "You're going to be catching men." That's the kind of power that I believe we get to actually have access to when we're praying. We have that power instead of actually picking up all the club skit and all the items we need and the costumes and the prizes and the music and the games and activities. Not that all those things aren't important in youth ministry, they are, but when we're relying on all those things rather than the power of prayer, then we're operating out of performance, out of what we can rely on versus God's might and power, because that's what showed up that day. And I want access to that might and power in everything I'm doing in ministry. There's some practical ways that I have actually implemented prayer into my life. One thing is a God is able card. And in this God is able card, I've written down 5 things that I'm praying for in the year that I actually started this. And so this is 2019. I started these 5 prayers, big prayers that I'm believing God for in our ministry, whether it's we want to reach 20 more teen moms, or we want to fill 2 cabins up at camp, or we actually want to raise our whole budget. Whatever the prayer could be, it could also be personal things that you want to see God do in your own family life, in your own personal life. And on the back, I actually have people that I'm praying for, 5 people that I'm praying for. And this card stays on my desk and I pray through it. And when I'm not at my desk, I have it memorized. So I'm praying through this card in my car while I'm working out, and I'm believing God for these things. And so what we did this year is we had our whole leadership team, all our leaders, our volunteers actually write these cards. And every time we gather, we talk about what we've seen God do. We are relying on prayer over our own ability to actually get things done. We are relying on God to show up at our clubs, on our campuses, in our churches, more than our ability and our talent to get things done. And this has made a huge difference in our ministry. We also have a day that we do, a day of solitude every month. And we decide that we're going to pray over the things that have been kind of weighing down on us, whether it's the finances that we need, or the camp numbers, or the fundraisers coming up, or the students and their lives and the hardship they're going through. Just the other day, I was talking about a teen mom that actually ended up blocking us from social media and wouldn't respond to any of our text messages. And we were talking about, how much we missed her and why she wasn't responding. And it was actually taking a toll on us. And we stopped and we prayed. We said, you know what, God, you love her way more than we do. And you care for her. And you will bring her in our path when it's the right time. And no joke, days after that prayer, I walk into a Target that I never go to. And she's right in front of me. And I yelled her name. And people started to look. And she was like, looking at me like, why are you yelling my name? And I'm like, because I just prayed that I would see you. And here you are. And I was able to ask her why she wasn't responding and why she was so upset. And she explained. And it was such a beautiful thing to see. God answered that prayer. And what if instead of taking these things and actually strategizing and actually thinking through and actually sitting there and actually working so hard and performing, what if we took them to God in prayer? What if we actually began to pray specifically for the things that we want to see God do rather than doing them ourselves? What if we prayed that he would show up at our club, at youth group, through our finances, through the volunteers we need? What if we began to pray specifically for things and we would eliminate the hurry from our life so that we could slow down and that we could seek him and we could rely on the power of prayer? It's not by the things we do. It's by his might and power. That's my word for you. And I'm hoping that today you will carve out some time to actually pray for the things that you've been working so hard towards. God bless you.